I'm actually a little anxious about following that now. But anyway, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Or in the language of this fine land, Croeso. My name is Ben, and I would first like to thank David for finally confirming me as the best man. It's the most important day of my life, actually. So I'd like to thank you all for coming. I'll try not to steal the limelight too much. Firstly, I would like to thank our hosts, the Morris and Samaya family, for putting on such a wonderful event today. I think you have to agree the service was beautiful and the food was delicious, and so first thank you to you. I'd also like to thank my ushers, James, Alex and Simon. You're missing one.
And David.
David. He's not an usher.
You didn't miss it up.
Okay.
Very good.
For turning up relatively sober and for helping David stay cool throughout this day. I'd also like to thank the bridesmaids. No clap, no clap. I'd also like to thank the bridesmaids, Mimi, Emma, Rose and Holly, for helping Suniti get to the church on time, keeping her cool and making the day go really smoothly. And Ollie parachuted in last minute to help things this morning, so I'd also like to thank her too. And Lulu. Now I know it's tradition to compliment the brides on how beautiful they look, but I think you have to admit, they are simply a vision. They are gorgeous. And I look forward to dancing with each and every one of you later. It's tradition, you can't get out of it. You can't get out of it. So, their beauty, however, is eclipsed by one person. Our bride today, Suniti, who is ravishing and gorgeous. Now, those who know me know I like to talk a lot. But today, apparently. Today I want to show you a different side to me, my more poetic side. We've seen the love between a man and a woman, and that was lovely. But I want to talk about a different sort of love. A love between two men. A bromance, if you will. So I prepared a little ditty, and I call it The Ballad of Beefy and Benny. It was about 20 years ago, in those days of misrule, I first came across young David Morris at City of London Freeman's School. His curly hair so wild, his manners so polite. I was struck down by lightning. It was love at first sight. A short trip to Brighton. All the young guys go to celebrate his 10th birthday. And our bromance began to grow. I was the loud, obnoxious one. He had all the tact. But as they say in love sometimes, opposites attract. Many summers and winters passed us by, his company never a slop, playing Nintendo, trying to skateboard, listening to the dulcet tones of Snoop Dogg, hustling those streets of Surrey, armed with looks that could kill, in those most dangerous of neighbourhoods, Weybridge and St George's Hill. In truth, it must be said, my task as best man, to give you as much dirt and as many skeletons as I can. About young David, during his formative years, is a tough one, near impossible, as I had feared. You see, he's such a moral soul, so honourable and well-behaved. A standard I've always looked up to. He's a model son, I suppose you could say. Except for that time I came back from holiday. From memory, I'd been in South Africa. At arrivals in 4 hours, because he crashed his Vauxhall Astra. And that gay hotel in Amsterdam that filled his mind with doubt. And I suppose I should add the New Year's Eve house party he had. His parents don't know about. Didn't know about. But over all these years were relatively sedate. They went without a hitch. And before Davith and the boys could get into any real trouble, we all went off to uni and college. In fact, it was around this sort of time, as we made our separate ways into the world, that Davith first laid his eyes on Suniti, a beautiful and enchanting girl. Through a crowded Wetherspoons pub, Davith used his lover's stare. Catching his eye, Suniti turned to her friends. Who's that weirdo over there? After months of persistence, with that unique Celtic charm, Suniti finally succumbed and thought, what could be the harm? And since that day they've been together, united, the best of friends. But ladies and gentlemen, fear not. That's not where my love story ends. After uni, the boys got back together, and the bromance was forged once more. On the District Light Railway line, in a place made famous in English folklore. 17 Angel Mews it was. The jewel in Shadwell's crown. Where Davith and I lived on Bombay mix and beer. And many a late night party to be found. Moulded on those war-torn streets of Surrey. With those incredible boyish good looks that could kill. With the boys we prowled those streets of London, bending bar man and woman to our will. But with age comes wisdom. And as the years went by, the Bombay mix turned to fine dining, and the lager beer to wine. We left the memory of those Surrey streets behind us. We mellowed out for years a few. That was until Davith asked me to be his best man, and we began to plan the stag do. Now, most guys like to keep it local. London, Manchester, even Guildford. Wait for it. But Davith, being the cosmopolitan man that he is, insisted we take the guys abroad. Okay, I said, what about Lisbon, Paris, Amsterdam or Cork? With a wave... They've got great beer there! They've got great beer there! With a wave of his finger, no, Benny boy. We're taking the boys to New York. And so a plan was hatched. The last before Davith was due at the chapel. The troops gathered with booze and passports, and we descended on the Big Apple. Now they say what happens on a stag do should remain where those stories had been. But ladies and gentlemen, a small insight. There were horrors even those streets of Surrey hadn't seen. 16 youngish lads, charged with energy, going full tilt. We basked in the American dream. Even a little blood was spilled. Jamie Webb. But luckily from the ashes we rose and made it back to Blighty intact. So we could be here on this special day to witness these two sign their marital contract. I suppose today marks the end of our bromance. But even though that wild hair is long gone, and those days of misrule are finally over, my love for Davith still burns strong. Much like Russell and Margaret, I feel I'm giving him away too. But I'm happy to be giving him to someone who loves him just as much as I do. It's real love, baby, it's real love. Our beautiful bride today has many qualities on show. One's very similar to me, actually, that attracted Davith many moons ago. Those who know Suniti know she's strong-minded, good-looking, ambitious and smart. And having looked after me throughout the years too, I know her to have kindness, compassion, and a warm heart. Over the past decade, I've been honoured to be a part of your life, and like everyone seated here today, to watch you become man and wife. So ladies and gentlemen, with glass charged in right hand, in front of these fine couple, I ask you to stand And join me in celebrating all the years done and the many, many more we know are to come. David Saniti, cheers. Good work,